Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing great. My name is Salsabilla Fahira and I'm from Universitas Negeri, Jakarta, majoring in Education of Office Administration 2017. And today, I would like to present my thesis with the title of The Impact of Flexible Working Arrangement and Work Environment on Job Satisfactions in Kantor Pusat Direktorat Jenderal Bea dan Cukai. First chapter. Human resource management is the most important factor for the companies in addition to other factors such as capital and so on. HR management is carried out in effort to obtain the reliable employees. So reliable employees can increase the effectiveness of the organizations in order to achieve the company's goals and visions and missions. So therefore, to obtain the employees who have the capabilities, the organizations or the companies must make the employees achieve their own job satisfactions. But in reality, many employees still feel the low job satisfaction such as a bad work environment, pressure from the supervisors, low compensations, lack of facilities, and so on. The level of job satisfaction in Indonesia, which is still relatively low. Stated in Daily Social ID by the Gallup Research Institute revealed that the fact that only 8% of Indonesian workers or Indonesian employees are truly satisfied with their job. Another corroborated research, according from the center which conducts research more than 30 countries, only 80% of Indonesian employees that were satisfied with their own jobs. And this shows that Indonesia still feel the lack of the job satisfaction with their own job. And the problems related to low job satisfactions are increasingly emphasized through the research conducted by the 2017 Job Happiness Index Survey Institute, which shows the job satisfaction rate in Indonesia is only 5.27%, as quoted in lifestylebusiness.com that through a survey conducted on 35,513 employees, there were three main happiness factors in both age groups. There were colleges or work environments, work locations, and the company's reputations. So to reinforce previous opinions on low job satisfactions, researchers conducted me as a researcher conducted a pre-research and interviews on low job satisfactions at Kantor Pusat Direktorat Jenderal Bea dan Cukai. And this is the assessment data that I got from Kantor Pusat Direktorat Jenderal Bea dan Cukai as the factors that caused by decreasing employee job satisfactions. And the first factor is incompatibility of hours and place of work, with a percentage of 43.3% agree with these factors. And the second is lack of facilities, with percentage of 30%. In the third is incompatibility of hours, with percentage 16.7%. And the last is the lack of cooperation between the employees, with 10%. So, to overcome the problem of the low job satisfactions from the previous statements, I also did a pre-research on 30 respondents of the Kantor Pusat Bea Cukai employees on the factors that affect job satisfactions according to Al-Faqih and Santoso in 2020. And as you can see from this table, we can conclude that there are two highest factors that affect the job satisfaction in Kantor Pusat Bea dan Cukai. There are flexible working arrangement, with the total agrees are 83.3%, and the second is the work environment, with the 80% agree with this factor. So the formulations of the problem in this research are: first, does the flexible working arrangement affect the employee's job satisfactions? Second is, does the work environment affect the employee's job satisfactions? And last is, does the flexible working arrangement and work environment simultaneously affect the employee's job satisfactions? And the purpose of the research is first to know the effect of flexible working arrangement on job satisfaction at Kantor Pusat Direktorat Jenderal Bea dan Cukai. And the second is to know the effect of the work environment on the job satisfactions at Kantor Pusat Direktorat Jenderal Bea dan Cukai. And the last is to know the effect of the flexible working arrangement and work environment stimuluously on the job satisfaction at Kantor Pusat Direktorat Jenderal Bea dan Cukai. So based on the main journals that I use in this research, there are several novelty of the research that I got. And the first is based on the previous research conducted by the John Anakis, Antonio Lobo, and also Soma Pillai in 2011 with the title of Exploring Monitoring Work Environment and Flexibility as the Predictors of Job Satisfactions within Australian Call Centers. And the novelty of research are, the first is research methods. On the previous research, they were using qualitative methods on their research. And on my research, I did quantitative methods. And the second is they are using 4 variables, and for my research, I only use 3 variables. And the last is the characteristics of the research samples. And they did the research on the employees of the three call centers office in Australia. And I conducted the research in government office engaged in export and import services. And the second is from Rini Astuti and Iferenski Nawati in 2018 with the title of The Influence of Leadership and the Work Environment on Job Satisfactions on PT Sarana Argo, Nusantara Medan. The novelty of the research are the first sampling methods. And in Astuti and Iferenski Nawati research using non-probability sampling methods, and for my research I use the simple random sampling. And the second is the different variable on the leadership. And as the Astuti and Ifereski Nawati use the first variable as a leadership, and for my variable is a flexible working arrangement. And the characteristics of the research samples. And the last is from the Maisha Fairuz Rahman 2019 with the title of The Impact of Flexible Working Arrangement on Job Satisfactions Among the Female Teachers in the Higher Education Sector. The novelty of the research are 2 variables. In Rahman study, he was only using 2 variables. There are flexible working arrangement and job satisfactions. And I am using 3 variables. And the second is in Rahman research, he was using a simple random sampling and convenience sampling. And for my research, I only use a simple random sampling. And the last is the research sector and the characteristics. This sector studied by Rahman was carried out in the education sector in Bangladesh University by limiting the respondents at the level of the female lecturers and teachers. And on my research, I didn't limit the gender of the respondents. Chapter 2. So we have known that the flexible working arrangement is my first variable. And what is exactly the flexible working arrangement? So the flexible working arrangement from Dimenezes and Kelleher in 2016 is flexible working arrangement are taken to be arrangements that allow employees to vary the amount of timing, locations of their work, and are designed to enable them to balance the demands of their work and non-worker lives more effectively. So these include, for example, remote working, flexible overworking hours, and reduced hours. And second, from Klinzik and Merrick in 2019, flexible or non-standard work arrangements are options that allow work to be accomplished outside of the traditional boundaries of the standard organizations of the work in terms of different dimensions like amount, distributions of working time, and place of the work. And the last is from Atkinson and Hall in 2011. Work flexibility is defined as the ability of the workers to control the durations of their good work from any locations based on the schedule that has been given. So from all these 3 statements, it can be concluded that flexible working arrangement is the options that worker can choose to work from anywhere and from any time, like remote working, flexibility working hours, and reduced hours. So they can balance their work and non-work lives, so they are more satisfied with their jobs. So the second is the definitions of the work environment. So what is exactly the work environment? So Awan Tahir in 2015 has stated that a working environment is the environment where people work together for achieving the organization's objectives. It can be systems, processes, structures, and tools and all those things which interact with employees and affect in positive or negative ways on the employee's performance. It can also be defined as the locations where the task is completed. And the second from Niti Semita in 2014, the work environment is everything around the worker and can influence them in carrying out the work that has been entrusted to the worker. Niti Semita also mentioned that the work environment is the internal and external conditions that can affect the spirit of the work so that the work is expected to be completed sooner and better. And the last is from Siang and Khair in 2018. The work environment are everything that surrounds employees. The work environments may be said to be a good working environment is when employees can work comfortably, safely, and optimally. And the last is job satisfactions. So job satisfaction is the level of satisfaction or the pleasure that an employee gets as a result of their assessment of the work or what they did and the work experience they has ever experienced from the Colkit in 2017. The second is from Tumboy Bella in 2018, employee job satisfaction can be seen not only while they are doing their work, but also related to other aspects such as interactions with the colleges, supervisors, following rules, and the work environments. And so everything that's around them. So job satisfaction reflects the person's feeling towards their work, so they can be seen from the attitude of the employee to the job and everything in the work conditions or the work environment. And the last is from Arwana and Fahri in 2015. Job satisfaction is an employee's view of their work. So whether there is a view of his work environment or his duty, job satisfaction is a measure of measuring whether the employees like their jobs or not. And when employees get job satisfaction, they tend to maintain the abilities and achievements in work. And this brings a good impact on the company or the organizations. And this is the previous journals that I have used on this research. I use researches by Capneri et al., Davidescu in 2020, Febrianto et al. In 2016, Taheri in 2020, Agbozo in 2017, and also Anakis in 2011. And this is the main journal that I use for my research. So after all the statements, all the information I have been given to you, it can be concluded that it can be seen or it can be concluded that in the impact of flexible working arrangement on job satisfactions by Stephanie et al. 2020 stated that the flexible working arrangement provides opportunities for the employees to manage their time between their work and personal life. So there has been an increase to employees' morale and loyalty, so they can achieve their job satisfactions. And the second is from the Omondi in 2018, flexible working arrangement provides many benefits and benefits to employees who underwrite their work system, such as vastly lower the employees' turnovers, higher autonomy, lower job and family conflicts, and also the most important is increasing the employees' job satisfactions. And the last from Suejioma study by Suejioma in 2018 stated that the schedule's flexibility and the flexibility of the workplaces has a significant correlation to the job satisfactions. So it can also be hypothesized that the flexible working arrangement has a positive impact on the job satisfactions. Second is the impact of the work environment on job satisfaction. Arwan Fahri 2015 has stated that both physical and non-physical work environments have a significant effects on job satisfactions. So when the work environment is pleasant and safe, the employees can reduce their boredom with the work so that they increase their job satisfactions. And Chiz et al. 2017 has stated that the positive influence exerted by the work environment has an impact on the career advancement indicated as a job satisfaction. And the last is from Sitinjak in 2018 that the good physical and non-physical workmanship support tend to increase the satisfactions of the employees. So when employees feel comfortable with their work environment and support facilities, work environment is increasing rapidly. So it can be hypothesized that the work environment has a positive impact on the job satisfaction. And the last is the impact of flexible working arrangement and work environment on job satisfaction. So according to the Anarchist et al. In 2011, satisfying a desire for work can bring a worker's satisfaction, such as the job monitoring, organizational requests work, both flexible and everything that can create a satisfying work environment, and have a significant and positive impact on the job satisfactions. So it can be hypothesized that the flexible working arrangement and work environment simultaneously has positive impact on the job satisfactions. And this is the research constellations of my research. And the third chapter. So the time and the place of the research, and the time is on November 2020 and July 2021, when I did my research. And the research took place in Kantor Pusat Direktur Jenderal Bea dan Cukai located in Jenderal Ahmad Yani Bypass Street. And the research approach are quantitative research methods with the multiple linear regressions analysis, and the survey methods with the questionnaire and with the Likert scale. And the population and sample, I'm using this simple random sampling technique with the population 170 Bea dan Cukai Pusat employees with the sample 120 employees. And the preparations of the instrument. The flexible working arrangement concept and definition can be the ability of the employees to control their work schedules. This provides an opportunity for the employees to be able to work anytime and anywhere they are, such as working remotely, working outside the normal standard hours, and reducing time, and so on. So flexible working arrangement is measured by 5 indicators. There are generic, schedule flexibility, remote working, compressed working time, and also the reduced hours. And this stage uses the primary data obtained through questionnaires and using a Likert scale. From 1 to 5, the 1 is the strongly disagree and 5 is strongly agree. And the second is the work environment. So the definition of a work environment is everything around that affects the employees in completing their jobs. Work environment can be in the form of the things that are around employees working, such as facilities, work materials, occupational security and safety, and relationship, and the most important relationship between the co-workers and also the supervisors. So work environment itself is divided into 2 types. There are physical environments and non-physical work environments. And work environment is measured by 7 indicators, namely there are lighting, color, sound, air, work atmosphere, relationship with the coworkers, and the work facilities. And the last is job satisfaction. So job satisfaction is a positive reflection of a person's work by looking at the employee's attitude with his work and supporting environment. So this job satisfaction cannot only be seen from how an employee likes their job or not, but also how the employees interact with their coworkers and the supervisor and the leaders. So job satisfaction is measured by 5 indicators. There are salary, work itself, co-workers, promotions, and the work supervisions. So on this research, I'm using several data analysis techniques. There are, for the test analysis requirements, there are validity main test and the reliability test. For the classic assumption test, I'm using normality test, linearity test, multicollinearity test, and heteroscedasticity test. And I'm using determinations coefficient analysis, multiple regression analysis, and hypothesis testing with the F-test and T-test. The fourth chapter is research and results and the discussions. And this is the descriptive analysis of the flexible working arrangement. And as you can see from this picture, this is the frequency distribution table. And in this frequency distribution table, there are highest values is obtained at the class interval of 55, and the lowest value is at 35, with the highest relative frequency is at the 40%. And this is an average score indicator of the flexible working arrangement. On this average score indicator of flexible working arrangement, the highest indicator with a percentage of 20% 0.64% at the reduced hours indicator, and the highest item is on the sixth item with a score 573. And this is the frequency distribution table with the highest value or highest score is at the class interval of 77 and the lowest is 54. And the highest relative frequency is 21%. And this is the average score indicator of the work environment. And at this score indicator of a work environment, the highest indicator with the percentage of 14.61% is indicator lighting, and the highest items in this is the second item with a score 579 as the second item in indicator lighting. And this is a frequency distribution table of the job satisfactions with the highest value or the highest score is 62 and the lowest value at the class interval is 39. And this is the last average score indicator of the job satisfactions, and the highest indicator with a percentage of 20.49% in coworkers indicator, and the highest item or the highest item questions on the sixth item with a score 579. And so on the test of analysis and requirements in flexible working arrangement, 11 items were valid, and the reliable value or reliable score is 0.76% from the corn batch alpha, and stated from the Ghazali in 2018 that if the score are greater than 0.7, so means that the test is reliable. So in my research on flexible working arrangement, my research is reliable. And the second is work environment with 15 items valid, and also the reliability value is 0.885. And the last is job satisfactions with 12 items valid, and reliability value is 0.821. The classic assumption test. So the data in this normality test, the data shows that a seems significant tail with a signification criteria of 0.05. It shows that this normality test on my research is 0.200 greater than 0.05 with a signification rate showing the data that this research has been distributed as the normal distributions. And the second is this normality test with the non-probability plot. The data spreads around the diagonal line and follows the diagonal direction, shows that the data is normal distributions. And the second is linearity test from independent first variable independent to the variable dependent. So that the significant value in deviations from the linearity is 0.274 greater than 0.05. That shows that there are a linear relationship between the flexible working arrangement and the job satisfactions. And the linearity test on the work environment to the job satisfactions, it shows that the significant value deviations from the linearity is 0.570 is greater than 0.05. So this conclude that there are linear relationship between the work environment to the job satisfactions. And on multicollinearity test, with the fifth values on flexible working arrangement and job satisfactions is 400 to 4,329 with the less than the 10, and the tolerance value is tolerance values of the both variable independence are 0.231 is greater than 0.1. So this, in conclusion, so there is no multicollinearity on this research. And the heteroskedasticity test, the flexible working arrangement signification value is 0.279 is greater than 0.05, and the work environment signification value is 0.366 greater than 0.05. So there is no heteroskedasticity on this research. And on the scatter plot of the heteroskedasticity test, there is an unclear pattern in the picture, and the dots spread above and below the number on 0 on the y-axis. And this can be concluded that there is no heteroskedasticity in this research, and the research if the research wants to be good research, it can also be there's no heteroskedasticity on this research. And the determination coefficient analysis, the R-square value of 0.923, showing that the flexible working arrangement and work environments simultaneously has an effect about 92.3% on the job satisfaction. And this is the big values for the research. And the multiple regression analysis based on the table above, the multiple regression models are known as follows, with the constant is 1.661, the flexible working arrangement is 0.370, and also for the work environment is 0.494. So the hypothesis test, the t-con on the flexible working arrangement is 7.265 greater than 1.657, and the t-con in the work environment is 11.339 is greater than 1.657. And the f-test is with f table at 117 by is 3.07, and the f-con is 705 is greater than 3.07. So the conclusions from all the information that have been stated to you, that there is a positive and significant influence between the flexible working arrangements and job satisfactions, with the value of the t-con at the 7.625 greater than the t-table of the 1.657. And second is there is a positive and significant influence between the work environment and job satisfactions, for both the physical and non-physical work environment, and with the t-con of 11.339 greater than t-table of 1.657. And the last is there is simultaneously positive and significant influence between the flexible working arrangements and the work environments on job satisfactions by obtaining the f-con with 705, and f-table is greater than f-table at the 3.07. The implications. The highest value of the flexible working arrangement variable is on the remote working indicator, with the sixth item is I am happy if I can work from anywhere. And the second is the highest value of the work environment variable is on the lighting indicators, with the second item, which is the lighting equipment in my workroom is good and adequate. And the last is the highest value of the job satisfactions variable is on the coworkers indicator, with the sixth item, which is I have a good relationship with my coworkers. And the advice of suggestions for the Direktorat Jenderal Bea dan Cukai, Kantor Pusat Direktorat Jenderal Bea Cukai, Kantor Pusat Direktorat Jenderal Bea Cukai may consider and improve the implementations of the flexible working arrangements, such as implementing the regulations that make it easier for employees to determine the freedom of the work completion time, so employees become satisfied with their jobs. And the second is Kantor Pusat Direktorat Jenderal Bea Cukai can improve the quality of the work environments around the employees by paying attention to the temperature and temperature of the workroom, such as additions of the air ventilations and the temperature settings that can be adjusted to the conditions of the room at the time. And the last is the Direktorat Jenderal Bea dan Cukai Pusat is advised in providing promotions, and promotions can consider factors such as employee residence, also the promotions placement area. And that's all for the presentations. Thank you for watching these presentations. And if you have any questions regarding my thesis and my research, just comment down below or contact me through the emails. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Bye.